Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Humanitarian Toolbox Community Stand-Up for the AllReady project. We are going to get started today by talking with Tony just to figure out where we're at with objectives and milestones and targets, and give us a little bit of information on what we're doing these days. Go ahead, Tony. Tony, maybe unfortunately hung. We do have some, this is the internet, and we were just talking about how some of us aren't very good with computers. Richard, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, bud. Can you not?
Okay, now you're joining us from overseas, so there's probably lots of bits and fiber and things between us, but go ahead and you have some pretty exciting news from over the pond.
Yeah, well, Steve was there as well, but we did our 2-day code-a-thon in London at the NDC conference. NDC folks were great to us, gave us a good space, lunch, all the caffeine we could consume, and we consumed plenty. And we had a really great turnout. Bill pulled together the stats. There were 13 participants for a total of 25 pull requests, 24 issues were closed, and 8 new issues created. And I got to meet Steve Gordon for the first time. So we got a little FaceTime with each other, and most of his team was there as well. So that was good fun to see a team.
I want to point out really quickly that Richard went to London, and a highlight for him was meeting Steve. So
absolutely.
There you go.
But yeah, now I'm on to Copenhagen to the next gig, but we're not doing an HTBox thing here. We'll be doing some stuff for Microsoft Denmark.
Wonderful. Tony, you've joined the call again. We can hear you, I think.
I think so, yeah. Chrome, oddly enough, crashed on me. Who knew?
So Richard's given us the stats from NDC. Great turnout there, and just a massive amount of code crunching. That was awesome. Anything else you'd like to fill us in on?
So from my point of view, I usually like to hit the stats on the project. We're at over 2,700 commits. We're over 115, I think 116 contributors, which is a key metric for us. We're well over 800 pull requests, and we got another dozen that are open. As I'm sure Richard went over the statistics, a lot of those came from NDC London, as well as we've bumped our December milestone to be the January milestone, because we've got just a bit more to be done. But what's great there is out of roughly, I think, 55 issues, only 9 of them are open. So we're very close. There's some particular ones, and I think a number of them are also set to be addressed by those pull requests that we should be able to pull in. So we're looking really good at getting the version 1 released. Jim and I, Jim with the Red Cross and I, have talked about looking over a scenario document we have, figuring out exactly what that gap is, really doing that analysis. I know Steve's been helping out a bit, so we can get real close and really finalize everything we need in there to get it in the hands of folks this month. So we're very confident that will happen, and that's really due to all the great work everyone's been doing. And then the last thing I will say is we are also looking at bringing on Sarah Ford, is going to help out with some UX from a design, from a process flow. That's one of the key things we need here. We have a lot of stuff that each individual screen is good, the buttons are good, but how does it flow together? How do we really get the user intent in place? So her and I met in San Francisco this week and talked through that. So we'll see a lot of that come through. So continuing to get more contributors, continuing to get really close to being ready to get this in the hands of folks, and just really excited to see how far this has come. Again, even just since our last stand-up, we've got many more contributors and many more updates in the code.
Right on. Okay, well, I'll go to Steve here. Steve, you were in at the event, the Codeathon, as well, and I'm sure that was exciting for you to get to meet some of the project owners and navigators in person, as well as to start hacking on the code base again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was more exciting for me to meet Richard than Richard to meet me, to be fair. But yeah, it was a great couple of days. Really pleased with how much we managed to get done. Couple of key things as well. We actually got all of the code running on a Mac and on a Linux box during the event, which was really nice to see that we finally kind of sorted out the .NET Core bits. I think there's still some issues to sort out on our build now for the test site, but other than that, we're pretty close with that. And yeah, just a big thanks to NDC for hosting us and the food, as Richard said, and yeah, thanks to the volunteers for turning up and making it a fun couple of days.
Sure, Steve. So I saw there's a VS Code folder that's checked in, and it's got configuration options for Mac and for Linux. Is there anything in there that anybody needs to know for that first download experience to get started on those alternate OS systems?
Yeah, we had a few twists and turns, and I think the guys that were sort of struggling with those have started documenting those pieces. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to sort of update the wiki. I think some stuff may have already been checked in on that as well. But I think generally it wasn't too bad. It was the same sort of issues that we were seeing on Visual Studio, to be honest, on Windows for people. A few people had Visual Studio 2017 RC, which was breaking TypeScript stuff in 2015 for us. So we took that off. We cleared up a few bits in TypeScript, and we were back and running again. So, but yeah, generally, I think once we got the code down, it wasn't too far off. We had some issues with time zones in the seed data. Yeah, we hard coded some time zone names. Yeah, we always hit those, but we've cleaned those out now. So I think we've hard coded time zones that exist in both the kind of the Mac IANA database as well as the Windows time zone database. So the seed data actually runs in fine, I think, once we did that.
And then I know SQL Server was at first an issue. We thought you have to run one online or something up in Azure, but it turns out that SQL Server on Linux and Docker, I think I've covered every technology involved there, is also deployable on the Mac and Linux, and was making it work as well.
Yeah, I think we had that on running. Yeah,
that's awesome. So to continue that path or that conversation of removing friction, then for anybody who wants to come on board, I know Dave was involved in a conversation with one of the other contributors in removing any of the cruft that happens when you have to download that first experience, and making sure that essentially when you clone the code, you can hit F5 and run. That's something that we've been very good at on this project, I feel, since we've started. And just to keep that moving forward, we're trying to remove some of those things. We're getting some gulp and some Bower restore problems, a couple of NuGet things that just need to be ironed out. And so I know that there's a conversation that's happening about that. And today I just actually threw in a pull request to help remove some of the noise in startup.cs so that we can more clearly see what's actually happening when we're to our dependency injection container and wiring up the security bits and things like that. So we're hoping to make this, or to keep this project, something that's very easy to get started on. But as always, if you have questions, please throw them on just make an issue in GitHub. We are more than happy to help. We can get in and chat with you in Slack or via Twitter. So do not hesitate to reach out and get plugged into this project if it's something that you're interested in working on. Tony, anything else before we wrap up?
No, like I said earlier, we're really pushing for the release. So jump in on the January milestone. Look for the P1 through P3 items, highest to lowest priority. Help us out there. We'll publish a little bit more after we go through this scenario and some of the UX, but we're real close and really excited getting this in the hands of folks to actually be deploying smoke detectors, potentially saving lives using this code. So it's awesome.
Excellent. Okay, we are going to be back with another community stand-up every 2 weeks from now until April 1st. We've got them scheduled out. So you can check out our Twitter feed. The HTBox Twitter feed will have a retweet or whatever of the schedule. You can, if you're watching us here on YouTube, you can check our events, our scheduled events that are coming up, and we'll be checking in every couple of weeks and making sure that we are keeping everybody out there in the nether in the loop. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers.
Cheers.